Let me climb in here.
Climb in my 1942 Jeep here.
1942 Jeep. All right, so I apologize for the technical difficulties because getting a signal here at SHOT Show is a little difficult, but this is Charlie from Riding Shotgun with Charlie. I am at the Samson booth. It's booth 737. There we are. So we want to thank them for letting us use their booth here at the SHOT Show, and we also want to thank Chris from Lan World. He's the gentleman that brought this 1942 World War II Jeep that we have here. Is this not the coolest?
I want people to like shake us to make it look like we're riding down the road.
Right.
Maybe we can just do it like this.
Right. It's not green screen, people. This is live to the internet. Anyway, so we want to thank these guys for helping us out here and having the shows. I have with me Dianna Muller. Di, it's so good to shake my hand, girl.
Yeah.
You know how to do that?
Gotcha.
I have Di Muller from Women for Gun Rights, but you can see she's also a competitive shooter from Daniel Defense.
Lots
and a bunch of other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to look too much because it makes me look like a creep. But, yeah, it is great to be here. Thank you so much for being on the show.
I love it.
Thanks for riding shotgun.
I love
in a
it.
Jeep.
And I haven't been shotgun lately with you. It's been
a while.
several years, so
yeah.
I think we're due.
So we did one in Washington D.C.
And
then we did one where you're like, "Hey, I'm at the Harrisburg International Airport. Can you pick me up and drive me to the Rod of Iron?"
I don't remember that, but I believe you.
I
do kind of now that you say it.
The interview was so good, she forgot about it. How about that? All right, so let's talk about Women for Gun Rights and what you have going on.
All right. Well, it's a growing, learning experience, and I am grateful to be surrounded by women that have a passion to safeguard the Second Amendment. We have, when we started, for your audience, if you don't know who we are, we started as the D.C. Project.
Right.
And we had one woman from every state. We tried to go to Washington, D.C. every year. And then in 2019, when we saw Virginia fall to an all anti from governor on down, and they had those sanctuary cities like 98, not sanctuary cities, sanctuary counties, 2A sanctuaries.
Right.
It was 98% of the counties went 2A sanctuary. And I thought, oh boy, the fight is in the states. So I asked those women that had been coming to Washington, D.C. to go back to their home states and do the similar, go to the Capitol, try to recruit some women, and go make a scene.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Right.
Make a visual appearance because if your audience doesn't know, Moms Demand Action is kind of our arch nemesis. They are a $60 million a year funded, and this was 2 years ago numbers, so who knows what they're putting into campaign season like last year. But they use the women's voice to call for more gun control. And there's really nobody from our side to say that, pushing back on them. They were like, all women want guns to go away and we want to be safe. And are you good? Is it recording?
It's recording audio.
Okay.
It's recording audio. All right. Well, if we need to go back and fix it, I'm getting the audio on a separate thing.
Okay.
If I don't have your camera on, how do you get your camera on?
Get the camera? What do you mean?
I love going first.
I'm sorry.
I'm going to let you live, Charlie.
I appreciate that.
Just this
Just
this once.
Oh, great. Never mind. So she's not going to commit murder. Everything will be fine.
5 minutes live still.
Okay, okay. So where were we?
One woman from every state.
Yeah,
Women
then we
How you
opened up the
started.
doors. So now everybody can join the organization. We've got state directors, we've got regional directors, and it's free to join. So we need numbers. Our social media, like anybody else in this industry, is severely shadow banned, and it's very difficult to grow there. But we are growing through our other efforts.
Right.
Yeah. So womenforgunrights.org. I'll give that pitch out, but. When I was talking about Moms Demand, there are forces at work to disarm America. And we in our world, I think we sit back and we think that we've got the Constitution and that we're right in truth. But what they may not understand is the effort at which those forces to disarm America are so intentional.
Yeah.
They are intentionally running people for office. Moms Demand specifically has a demand a seat Since 2021, when they launched that program, they've got 500 volunteers that have been elected to office. And I'm like, where is it coming from our side? Who from our side is teaching our industry to run for office?
Yeah.
We're not intentional like they're intentional. So that's kind of where, Women for Gun Rights, I'm kind of just sitting back and trying to fill a hole. I don't want to reinvent the wheel or duplicate effort anywhere. I want this organization to be effective and filling a hole that needs to be filled. And I think that that's a really good one. And I think that's where we're hitting our stride, as being a counter-visual and counter-voice to Moms Demand Action and the anti-gun groups. And we'll tell our stories. And, we've got stories of trauma, stories of, survival, stories of, we have stories.
Yeah.
It's just trying to get that message out to the mainstream public is very, very difficult.
It's difficult.
And shaping public opinion. And that's what Moms Demand and the left, they have those legacy medias that are going to do their bidding. They have those pulpits, the bully pulpits from the political side that they'll wear the red shirt.
Yeah.
They'll do everything.
So in 2023, in Massachusetts, we had this politician who I refuse to say his name. He who shall not be named, right?
Uh-huh.
And he did these things called the gun law listening tours. Carrie Ann O'Clair and Renee Gagnon from Massachusetts and Rhode Island, respectively. They went to a lot of these, and I went to 8 of the 11 of them, and I wrote about them on News 2A. There were always people in red shirts. The red shirts were always there every time, and it was always the same stuff. I don't want this, and I want to end.
I'm scared.
Right, I'm scared. The one I think that really upset me the most was some elderly woman, that said she wanted to know if I was carrying a gun at the store at the mall, that I could shoot it proficiently. And I'm like, what I do is none of your business. Like,
what are you going to do?
Yeah, what are you
to protect yourself or me?
Exactly. And you expect me now, if something bad happens, you expect me to protect you, and you didn't do anything to do this, but you want me to make sure I'm proficient.
Right.
I don't have to make you happy. That's not my job.
Yeah.
I don't have to prove to you that I can do something. That's I've got a right to do it. I should be able to do this. I want to know that you're not some crazy cat lady or something. You know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't be that at all.
Well, you mentioned the red shirts and that visual. Like, it's great marketing. Like, they can pay 200 people to show up in the same spot, and we might have 2,000 people, but we don't collectively. That's why I think the Teal for 2A program is so important, is that we use what they're using successfully, and that we do the same thing and say, no, we have 2,000 people here that support gun rights.
Right.
And you have 200 that you probably paid for.
Right.
So, and I'll tell you a quick story about going to Florida. When the governor signed the constitutional carry, which isn't really constitutional carry in Florida, but it was close. They had some hearings prior to it. And it's a supermajority Republican. We knew it was going to pass, and I was advised not to go. Don't waste your time. And I was like, you know what? I want to go. I'm in Florida. I took 5 people in teal shirts. We testified.
Yeah.
We had a 14-year-old that left school because she didn't feel like anybody could protect her.
Nice.
And they had over 100 red shirts in that hearing room.
Wow.
And I can guarantee you that us showing up and telling our side of the story had an effect on those 100 shirts. We weren't talking to the legislators. We knew that they were on board or had enough votes to do what they needed to do.
Right.
We were influencing the masses. And that's where I think that our side can kind of step up and get outside the comfort zone and have conversations. And if you don't feel comfortable having a conversation, on our website, there's a one-page talking point document. And you can download it anytime, whether you're going to go do an interview or whether you're going to go to the Thanksgiving table. You can download that, take a look at it. It's got bullet points about every usual suspect, universal background checks, red flag laws, you name it, it's on there. And it can give you like, hey, there is a reason that we oppose universal background checks.
Right.
And this is why. So that's important.
The conversations at the dinner table are really where things happen. There was one lady at one of the gun law listening tours that said she was a domestic violence survivor, but she might have, I don't know if she was still living in that situation, but she said that she never thought that a gun would be an equalizer. She thought if she had a gun that her husband would overpower her, he would take it and use it against her. And I remember Carrie Ann was telling me that she went up to her and said, I never thought that I could use this to protect myself against him.
That's because their messaging is terrible in that it creates victims. If you tell somebody that there's no way you can defend yourself, and if you have a gun, it's more likely to be used against you. I mean, they're creating pathways of being a victim as opposed to being a victor.
Right.
And that's where I think that it's so important for us to have those conversations and educate yourself on why do I believe in what I believe and why does the Constitution. If you don't know anything about America, you can't talk about how great America is. If you don't know anything about the Second Amendment, you can't talk about why you support it. So I just encourage your audience to do your due diligence and make sure you educate yourself.
Cool. Let's talk about Ambassador Academy.
Okay.
Because this seems like a really cool thing to go to.
It really is. I've heard it. I get a lot of good feedback from it.
Yeah.
This is our fifth or sixth, seventh year. I can't keep track. The time goes by so fast. But we go to a place called WAFT in Florida and outside of Orlando.
Three different names, right? I don't know what the official name is.
Now it's where our families train.
Right.
He's very focused on family and being civilian. It's the best civilian training that I have come across. It's the best training period I've come across because it's so lifelike and scenario-based training. So everybody has live fire. You can go to any range to do that, but you can't go anywhere and do the scenario-based training that he's set up. It's it's phenomenal. So the Ambassador Academy, having this conversation, being in front of a podcast, those are skills that we need to develop more people that can speak articulate in our space. So that's what Ambassador Academy was born to do, is to plant seeds for more Coleon Noirs, more Dana Lashes, more people that can speak effectively about the Second Amendment. So we have training in social media. We have training in filming and editing. It's basically creating a one-man band of how to promote. We get in front. We talk about the hostile communications. We talk about friendly communications. And then we have 3 fantastic photographers so people can actually create some kind of portfolio. And all this happens at WAFT, a 5-star facility that I call Tactical Disneyland. So,
all right, I love that one, right?
Yeah.
But what does WAFT really stand for? The West Orlando?
It was West Orlando Firearms Training, but now he's using the acronym Where Our Families Train.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Now, he's open to other places, like not just Ambassador Academy?
WAFT has WAFT training. And I'll also say this, let me explain this. So our Ambassador Academy has 1 day of WAFT training.
Okay.
The first day is all of his scenario-based training, hand-to-hand, low light, how to use the flashlight, situational awareness, how to identify predators, how to avoid having to use your firearm. Mm-hmm. So that's how we start the Ambassador Academy. But he has classes all the time.
Gotcha.
But it's like Disneyland. It's very expensive.
And you don't want to leave?
And you don't want to leave. And you want to go back.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Tell me about the competitive shooting, because you're all over the world, like all over the country. And
Thailand. I'm actually getting ready for in May. I'll be in the Czech Republic and shooting the World PCC match, first one ever.
Nice.
Pistol caliber carbine. Daniel Defense has a new pistol caliber carbine, so I'm very excited to go international and try to win some gold medals over there and tour. I want to see Prague. But yeah, Fiocchi Hyperfire, those will all be my 3 sponsors that I highlight at that match.
Yep.
Yeah, and then Night Force. Let's see, we got a new sponsor. We got a new sponsor, Genesis. The box-fed firearm, the box-fed shotgun, 12-gauge shotgun from John Wick 4.
Nice.
Yep. I'm excited to go shoot open. And then Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is a Christian conservative cell phone service provider. Mm-hmm. So it's a no-brainer. They bought into all 3 towers. There's only 3 towers: AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon. You can pick your tower. If you have to AT&T now, you can use that tower.
Yep.
But if you switch over to Patriot Mobile, you're supporting a company that supports us, supports the firearms industry, the Second Amendment, and pro-life. They're awesome. And if you use the code 2APatriot, I'll go ahead and give that. That specifically supports Women for Gun Rights. We get like a percentage back of the bill.
That's awesome.
So they're fantastic people, just fantastic people that are doing great work. And that's another avenue with which we save ourselves, is give back to the companies that are supporting us.
Very
Support the companies that are supporting us.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, I thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
We need to wrap things up because we have some more people that are here and waiting in the wings. We got to pick them up. Di, thank you so much.
Thanks for all you do, and thanks for all you do for Women for Gun Rights. You're fantastic. We love you.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. All right. We will be back in a couple minutes with Cheryl and Danny Todd. And we gotta find a way to get Danny Todd into the Jeep. So we
he
will
can
be
sit here in the.
No, there's a spot in the back.
Oh, I love it.
All right, so we will be back. Gentlemen, we are so sorry for the technical difficulties that we've been having, but we are going to find a way to put all of this out somehow, somewhere, because if there is a will,
there is a way.
There is a way. So this is Charlie Cook from Riding Shotgun with Charlie. I am here at the Samson Manufacturing booth 70737 at SHOT Show. First, I want to thank Samson Manufacturing for having us do shows again live from SHOT Show. This year, it's a little more live than it was last year, if you know what I mean. A little more exciting.
Exactly.
But I also want to thank Chris Bailing from... Oh my gosh, where's he from? From Hera Industries. He's also from Lan World. He's the gentleman that owns the Jeep that we are in. This is a 1942 World War II Jeep that we are in. Is this amazing or what?
So very, very cool that I'm sitting in a genuine World War II vehicle. I just love it. And you know Danny's having the time of his life.
Only problem is now it's mine. I'm in it.
So I have Cheryl and Danny Todd from
Gun Freedom Radio.
And this is Danny.
Hi, hey, Charlie, we got to go back.
The other
I
guy.
left my gun in Berlin. We got to go back. Oh, no.
Oh,
okay,
my
I can
gosh.
take that off now. I don't know how they did that.
So say you're the other guy.
I'm the other guy.
He's the other guy. There we go. Dude, we got to put this by your face, man.
Okay. All right.
You'd think these radio professionals could do this. You know what I'm saying?
No, we have
no.
staff.
Anyway,
we have staff. We have people for that.
She has to dress me. She has to set me up for the microphones. She has to do it all. She didn't do that today. So I'm on my own.
You're on your own. Yeah, this'll, yeah, okay. Anyway, you guys have a lot going on. You are like the busiest woman in the Second Amendment. You're with Women for Gun Rights. You've got Gun Freedom Radio. You are the president of the AZCDL
Foundation.
The AZCDL Foundation.
Which is working on bringing Faster Saves Lives to Arizona.
I love me some Faster Saves Lives.
Actually, this is January 2025. The end of December, I stepped down, empowered Clayton Wilcox to step up into the presidency.
Very
and
cool.
So now I am a cheerleading squad team for the foundation, but I'm the vice president of the AZCDL, the C4. That is the legislative arm. We are the watchmen on the wall and the guard dogs in the Arizona State Legislature working towards good bills and making sure that those bad rights killings, freedom killing bills do not see the light of day, because we do still have a governor who would love to sign all the bad ones in and kill the good ones.
So I live in occupied territory.
Yes, you do. It's very sad.
God
love you.
We have all the restrictions.
Yes.
You guys have none of the restrictions, but you still have the anti-gun folks out there that want to take our rights away.
Mm-hmm. We sure do. And it's so much about advocacy. And that is the Women for Gun Rights piece, right? So I help mentor women to use their voice, to understand that they have a unique story to tell, and to bring those stories not only to the Arizona State Legislature and say, I want to testify on this bill. This bill makes my life better, and here's how. Or this bill makes my life worse, and here's how. That's what testimony is. Very simple. Sounds scary. It's not.
Yeah.
But also, we are all citizen journalists. If we will use our voices, we walk around with these phones that have cameras and microphones every single day. Tell your story. Live out loud. These are the things that I'm trying to encourage people to do, because apathy is going to be the death of all of this that we try to do. But yeah, so trying to help people renormalize gun ownership, which is part of this whole outfit that I'm wearing, right? The polka dots are my camo, which
yes,
Charlie is part of that story.
Right. So I had once I started doing all this and hanging out with you guys, I had a girlfriend that I would say, oh yeah, so Cheryl Todd, and she's like, is that the lady that wears polka dots? And I'm like, she is. So I told you this, you took it and ran with it.
I did, and it was funny that I hadn't even clued in how many of my outfits were polka dotted until you mentioned
all of them.
all of them.
Everything.
Exactly.
And it seemed to resonate because, you don't have to be, like military camo wearing person, male or female, to live out loud and do this advocacy. And so I just decided to kind of grab it and say, well, my camo is polka dot and polka dots are my camo.
Right. Because, I mean, that's the thing. So for me, gun ownership is, if you want to have a gun, own a gun. It's not for everybody, and that's cool, and that's fine. I don't want to force it on anybody, but you shouldn't tell me I can't do something, right? Like I used to listen to this guy back in the 90s at a radio station in Boston, and he always talked about he said the difference between the conservatives and the libertarians was the pot issue. He's like, the libertarians like to smoke pot, but they're conservatives, and the conservatives are conservative, but they don't like to smoke pot. And that was kind of my thing. And then the more I became a gun guy, the more I'm like, if you want to smoke pot, smoke pot. Like, it's none of my business. I don't care what you do. Don't bother me. I'm not going to bother you. And, I'm like Rodney King over here. Can't we all just get along?
Exactly. Except that the whole cannabis issue immediately kills your gun rights because it's a federal. So that's something that I think this new administration that's coming in might be working on, reclassifying the cannabis thing. Who knows? We'll see. But I'm hearing rumblings.
Yeah. So Charlie says, if you want to own a gun, you can own a gun. Come on, Charlie. If you own one gun, you know darn well you more than one, right?
Guns are like potato chips. You can't have just one.
No, not at all. And so what I do is, for the industry, is I carry her luggage. And one time I carried 2 luggage for her. And one was blue and one was red. And so I carry them around the airports and stuff for her. And so that's kind of a fulfilling life. And
it's a fulfilling.
He does way more than that. If Danny Todd didn't do everything that he does, I couldn't do anything that I do.
This is one of the things that I love about you guys. When I first met you guys had a cannon.
Yes.
Two
Remember the word.
Right. You can't have just one.
Right.
You guys had a cannon from what, the Batman versus Superman movie?
Yeah, it would have fit on this Jeep perfect. It was World War II, 155 millimeter howitzer.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Wait,
2 of them.
You can't own a cannon, Danny.
That's what Biden says.
I know.
I own 2 and I shot 2 of them. So
that's amazing.
Yeah. So
we actually use them as a shotgun start for a golf tournament every year for a group that is supporting Luke Air Force Base out in Arizona. And they got permission. They asked if we could use it, and I said, shoot, if you get permission. So they got
literally.
Yeah. From not only the city, but also the golf course, Wigwam Golf Course. And it was always amazing. And, I think it woke up the neighbors a couple of times, but it was a lot of fun. It was just a dummy round, but it had the big boom and the dramatic fire flash that would come out of the end of the barrel.
And the shaking of the windows. Yeah.
Nice. Oh, my God.
It's fun.
You guys are the coolest. You really are.
We have a fun life, for sure.
And then you guys had a gun store for a long time.
Yep.
And then one of the things I mentioned this, and every time I bring it up, you get a tear in your eye. But years ago, I remember reading a story about a gun store where somebody tried pulling off the front of the tried pulling off the front of the building, and I was like, this is crazy talk. And then I get to the point in my life where I get to be friends with these people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun time.
Not a fun time.
$250,000 of damage, and
yeah,
no guns got taken.
No guns got taken, so it's useless. They shouldn't do this. They shouldn't do this.
Right. Then there was blood in their car, and so that was kind of cool. But,
yeah, they smashed their face into the the airbag that came out, but the vehicle came into the building, and it fit just right. Thank you, Lord, that they couldn't get their doors open.
Oh my God!
And they tried to kick out the windshield; it wouldn't kick out. So all they could do was crawl out the back and escape, and got no guns. But my gosh, everything that was in the engine of the car came out all over the floor, oil, and our fire alarm was trying to go off because it was smoking. Thank goodness the fire didn't erupt, but that was what we woke up to at 4 o'clock in the morning or whatnot. But a horrible thing, a memorable thing, but overall nothing lost, no loss of life, and
Right.
No firearms
Yeah,
lost.
and then you guys have gone from having AZ Firearms to having you have
Pot of Gold auctions.
Pot of Gold auctions.
And we do guns, coins, jewelry, antiques, all kinds of stuff.
All kinds of
So
stuff.
we still do guns.
And this is what's pretty cool. It led to a whole pinball collection.
Yes.
You've gone from Danny. What is it, Danny the gun guy?
To Pinball Dan.
Pinball Dan.
Yeah.
I love.
Yeah. So yeah, we do pinballs, jukeboxes, all that kind of stuff. It's a lot of fun.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But they take more room, and you can't take them out and shoot them. Well, you could, but they wouldn't work anymore.
It's right. You can only shoot them once.
A boy's got to have a hobby, I suppose.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right. Well, listen, we need to wrap things up. Our next person is here. Where can people find you and all the stuff you do?
Well, right now we're in like Germany, I think, aren't we? No.
We're trying to get out.
Hey guys, where we at? Oh.
That's fantastic. First of all, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Appreciate you and all that you do. You can find us at gunfreedomradio.com on all of the social medias. We are an interview-based show. We've had Charlie on. We've been fortunate to have him on a few times. Lots of great subject matter experts there. azcdl.org. We are a member-based organization. You don't have to live in Arizona to be a member. And numbers matter. When we sit down with the legislators, they want to know, Cheryl, when I'm speaking to you, how many thousands of people, maybe millions of people, am I actually speaking with? And in the state of Arizona, we have 7 million residents. We should have 7 million members because we're fighting even for the rights of people who they don't even care about their rights, or they would take away our rights.
Right.
FasterSavesLives.org, and of course, WomenForGunRights.org. Those are all of our things. And then what's your pinball?
Arizona Pinball and Arcade,
Dot
located in
com.
Avondale, Arizona.
.com?
Historic
Yeah,
Avondale? The historic part?
Yeah.
Historic.
Very nice. I love it. It's like it's great. Like being in that little area.
It's a beautiful
pretty
little
cool.
town.
It
And
is.
a great, the mayor is a personal friend. The chief of police is a personal friend. It's like a Mayberry.
Cheryl,
It's wonderful.
But you didn't mention at AZCDL that you don't have to be in Arizona to join, and you should be encouraged to join all of these groups that are helping to fight for your gun rights. You can't sit on the couch.
You can't sit on the couch. I like that.
Or in a
What
Jeep.
he said.
There we go. All right, listen. Thank you guys very much. We are going to be right back with Theresa Inacker, who is also Women for Gun Rights, because I have the chicks in the car today. And she is also a candidate for the NRA Board of Directors. And we're going to sit here and we're going to talk with Theresa when we come back. We'll be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen. We had to switch over computers. It's been a little bit of a nightmare here on the tech side. I do want to thank my producer, John Petrolino, the Pen Patriot. He's helping out with all this. I also want to thank Samson Manufacturing for having us do the riding shotguns here in a Jeep at the Samson booth at the SHOT Show, booth 70737. I also want to thank Chris from Lan World. He's the one that let us use this Jeep. This is a 1942 World War II Jeep.
Wow.
He's had this since he was 18.
Oh my gosh.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
It is way cool.
It is way cool. So we want to thank these guys. Chris's other company is Hera Industries. One of the things that his companies do is they neuter guns so you can have them in California.
Oh, wow.
And they ship them to California. So the things that are don't quite fit the roster they have in California, they make them so that they do fit in the roster.
What about New Jersey?
We're going to have to talk to Chris after the show and see,
Okay.
see what he can do for you guys in New Jersey. So I have with me now Theresa Inacker, who is with the Women for Gun Rights, but she is also running for the board of directors for the NRA, which is what I want to talk about. You were one of the reformers.
Yes.
So how did you get into all of this? Like the Women for Gun Rights, you're an attorney.
Mm-hmm.
You've been a gun gal for a long time.
Yes.
You've been an activist. You've been involved in the Coalition of New Jersey Firearm Owners, and all of this led to you running for the board of directors on the NRA.
Yes.
This is pretty incredible.
Yes. Well, in New Jersey, we're tried in the fire, right? Because they try every anti-Second Amendment, law that they can think of. And so I have been very active for, 15 years or so in Trenton, New Jersey with various groups. I served for a while as the communications director for Coalition of New Jersey Firearms Owners. I'm on the board. I'm a trustee there, and I'm the New Jersey director for Women for Gun Rights.
Right.
So been active in doing all the grassroots stuff, basically.
Mhm.
Also, as an attorney, I kind of coordinate
with the attorneys who file lawsuits for us. We have several lawsuits going on right now, and another one that's going to be filed very soon. So I will kind of liaise with the community to try to find appropriate plaintiffs and send those people on to our attorneys who make the ultimate decision. So I try to connect the community with them. And through my connections, Amanda Suffolcool, who is on the NRA Board of Directors, I know her from Women for Gun Rights. She asked if I was interested in running, and I thought about it. You know, I'm a life member. I've been a life member for, right. And so I said yes. I said, yes, I'd like to be a reform candidate. So here we are.
Very cool. Very cool. What's the process somebody has to do to, like, there's 2 ways to get elected to the BOD, right?
Right.
One of them is to get nominated, and the other one's through petition. Which one did you use?
Well, I actually applied for the nomination committee, and of course I wasn't chosen by them.
Yeah.
But I didn't really expect to be as an outsider, even though I am a life member. I'm still an outsider. I wasn't part of, the people who have a grip on the NRA and the nominating committee. Obviously, they protect their own, and they're very, selective about how they choose candidates. And so I was not chosen by the nominations committee, but I did run by petition.
Okay.
So I submitted almost 1,000 petition signatures.
That's fantastic.
Yes, we needed about 400. So
excellent.
We submitted those, and here we are. I was able to make it onto the ballot by petition.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. That's an achievement itself, because you've got to get people. There's I know there's not restriction. Restriction's not the right word, but there's requirements.
Yes.
In order to vote, is there?
Yes.
Is there to sign petitions? Is there something like?
Yes. Yeah.
Besides being an NRA member.
Right. You have to be an NRA member, and you have to have your NRA member number. So if you don't know that number, of course, we can try to call member services and get that number from them. And they were very helpful. I'm very grateful to them. I had to do that on many of the signatures. But yes, somebody has to be a valid, member to sign the petition, and their address has to match, and their name has to match, and the membership record. So there's a little bit, you have to have that sort of that amount that you expect that might not be fit because somebody's moved and they didn't update their address with NRA, and that's a problem. So that would not be valid.
Gotcha.
But whatever process they've used down there, they went through it pretty quickly. And I was just so pleased and so grateful to everybody who handed out my petition, signed my petition. I have folks in New Jersey in their gun shops, and Scott Rivera is here from SWAT Firearms in New Jersey. He put my petition out in his gun shop.
Oh, nice.
Legacy in New Jersey also did. Anthony Calandro's range had it out for a while. So I really called on the community and said, hey, could you guys maybe put this in your shop or ask your friends or share it around? And people absolutely did, and it was just a resounding response. So.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Do you have to get people from all around the country? Like, could you? I mean, you guys are heavy in New Jersey, obviously.
Yes.
It wasn't just Jersey people that voted for you, right? Like, you got votes all around the country,
right?
With all your, all the connections that you have.
Absolutely. I had folks around the country. We were sharing each other's petitions as well. So as I was sharing mine, there were 3 other fellows that I was sharing theirs, and vice versa. And so I received signed petition sheets from North Carolina, from Arizona, from all over the country. It was incredible. It was just great. So there are people, the members are clamoring for change. They really are. And, there are some people that want to just give up on it, but there are other people who are willing to actually, let's stick with this and let's fix it. And so people really spread the petitions around, and they've been very supportive so far. So
Great.
I'm optimistic.
I'm one of the guys, like I've been saying for a long time, that we need a strong NRA, because the NRA is the big pro-gun group that the anti-gun folks go after.
Yes.
They don't know about the state organizations. They don't know about SAF or FPC or Gun Owners of America or GOA. They don't really know about those, and it's never. When the anti-gun folks want to come after somebody, it's always, I'm going after the NRA.
Yes.
It's not, I'm going after SAF. I'm going after FPC
Right.
or GOA. So the NRA have to be strong to fight this.
Yes. Absolutely. So we were going in the right direction. I think at the last board meetings, from what the reports people came back and told us, they're moving in the right direction. Some of the committees that hadn't met in years are now meeting again. And, there was just progress moving forward. But it's definitely time. You've had people who are in there for 30, 40 years doing the same thing.
Right.
They're not really connected with the grassroots. They're not connected with the people.
Sure.
And we are being attacked by anti-gunners in novel and new ways. And we have to meet that standard. We have to be able to adapt and understand what they're doing. So, we try to be as active as we can on social media, and I think that's really important. But there are, some people that really you don't see them out there. And with all due respect, I'm sure there's a lot of wisdom there and a lot of experience. But we also have to make sure that we're up to the match so that we can, meet them in ways that we're being attacked and we need to respond, and we need to respond in kind and make sure that we're, out on socials the way we should be and connecting with the members as well. So
yeah, it's tough. I mean, we all, you have to realize that, you can't hold on to a position for forever. 30, 40 years is a long time to be doing the same thing when everything has changed.
Right. And especially when, the membership is clamoring for that change. Obviously, it's sort of like, saying when we see our elder statesmen, if you will, in the Senate where, it's sort of like really people are clamoring for, for term limits and that sort of thing. I'm not saying there should necessarily be term limits on the board of directors, but what I'm saying is that, you do need to update.
There was, just before Christmas, there was a story about a woman that was a politician that had been in the hospital for 6 months and nobody knew about this?
Yes, I remember seeing that. I think it was a Texas congresswoman.
Okay.
A Republican, too.
Yeah. This is one of these things. Like, if the committees, some of the committees haven't met for what, 3, 4, 5 years?
Right.
That's a long time to not do anything.
Right. I think the membership committee hadn't met in 3 years. That to me is just unconscionable.
Yeah.
So, I'm definitely more, interested in women's issues, in grassroots, in connecting, the larger NRA with state groups. The state groups are out there and they are doing the heavy lifting. I'm sorry, but they really are.
Yeah.
And there is a disconnect. There's definitely no attachment at all. There needs to be better communication for the state groups that are doing all of the work down there. Like, hey, give us a little bit of help. Are you even in touch with what we're doing?
Right.
And I really would love to somehow work to improve that. So I have a lot of ideas. I think it would be very different from what they're used to doing up there.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. It's definitely going to be different.
Yeah.
You don't get to go to the meetings yet, do you? Like, I know some of them are open to the public, and I know
No,
sometimes they go
no.
to executive
Yeah,
decision.
no, I'm not privy to,
what's
as
going
Amanda would be able to go and all
Right.
of that. And of course, there are folks in there that are taking notes and they can't bring their phones and that sort of thing. No, I'm not
Right.
invited to that, but I will be at the annual meeting, obviously, in Atlanta.
In Atlanta, yeah.
I'm going to the Great American Outdoor Show
Uh,
in Harrisburg.
First weekend or second weekend?
Yes, I will be there. So
Which weekend?
It's the last weekend in January, first weekend in February.
Okay.
So I'll be there on the 31st and the 1st. I believe it runs for 7 days.
I
But
think it's like 10. It's like a
or
week and a
10
half.
days. I don't
It's-
have that kind
it
of
seems
time
like
to be
forever.
there.
Yeah, no, for
Yeah.
sure, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. What kind of things do the reformers? We got two groups: the reformers and the old dog, or the old, the old guard. Sorry, not
Right.
the old dog.
Old dog.
The old dogs.
Can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Right, which is part of the problem, which is
Right.
why we need the reformers. What kind of things are the reformers? There's 28
Yes.
people, and we're not asking people to bullet vote anymore.
Right.
We want to have people vote for these 28 members.
Yes. Yes, we're going as a slate, so it's vote for all of us. And the sort of things that they want is more transparency. Get the special litigation committee. They just voted at the last meeting to get rid of it, and it was a big problem. Legal fees that the organization had to pay to defend Wayne. Wayne has started to pay them back, or has paid them back. I believe $4 million so far.
Yeah.
And so, why should the members, their hard-earned dollars, go to defend somebody? In that position, who's been in that position. I think he was there for
A long time.
decades. And obviously, you start to build those structures around you and you're in there that long, and there was just really no transparency and accountability. So
Right.
cannot do the same things they've been doing. The members are not going to tolerate it, obviously.
Yeah.
So we're giving them some hope that we can get in there and straighten that out. So
Nice.
yeah, it's good.
Very cool.
Mhm.
When is the election?
So the election, the ballots will
The
be
ballots-
released starting January 26th.
Okay.
If you receive a paper magazine, your ballot will be inside the centerfold of that magazine. And what's really cool is that there'll be a centerfold advertisement for the reform candidates.
Very
The
cool.
NRA 2.0, electanewNRA.com. You'll see all our pictures there. There's a QR code and a website. So that will be starting January 26th. If you get a digital magazine, they'll mail ballot to you.
Okay, cool.
And they have to be postmarked and signed by April 6th.
There is, if you have the paper ballot, because that's what I do. I'm old school.
Yeah.
The paper ballot has to have, it's got to have all your correct information on it, right?
Yes, absolutely. Make sure that your address matches what the NRA membership, membership services has.
Yep.
Make sure that you sign it properly. It has to be signed. And it has
Signed, that's what I'm
It
thinking.
has to be signed.
Yes.
And it has to be postmarked by April 6th.
April
So
6th.
don't wait. As soon as you get that ballot in the mail, if it's in your magazine, or if you get it later on, you're going to get a paper ballot. If you get a digital version of it, send it out right away. But go for all 28 of us.
Where can people find out where these 28 people are, or who the 28 people are?
Right. electanewNRA.com has biographies for every single person out there. So it has
Alright.
our photographs, our biographies, tell you a little bit about their backstories and that sort of thing. And it's great. So you can just scroll down and check everybody out. There's also, some statements about our mission, about transparency and such. So
Nice.
it'll be
Good.
really good. Yeah.
To me, what's important is, everyone talks about diversity, but you don't want to have this false diversity.
Right.
But it's nice to have, it's nice to have women doing stuff too.
Yes.
And I don't mean that in a
I love
condescending
it.
way, but
Oh,
as we look around the SHOT Show, we I jokingly tell people, I say, hey, listen, I'll be at the SHOT Show. I'm the overweight, middle-aged white guy with a beard. You can't miss me.
that's so funny.
So it's, yeah.
I was
it's-
just saying, we were walking through and it was like there were very few women. And I was like, if you like men, this is the place for
right?
you.
It's,
It's definitely full of it. Yeah, I think if it's me and Kathy Wright, I think are the only women that are on the slate. But if we get on, Amanda said something about we would be 20% of the board.
Wow,
So
that's great.
obviously we're 51% of the population, but we're not quite there yet.
Yep.
But I must say, as working with Women for Gun Rights on the state level, and also working with a state group that's not specific to women, our message does get through a little bit better on the Women for Gun Rights side, just because we break that we break that visual you have of moms demand action and the moms in the red shirts. And here we come in teal shirts. And we're also telling stories and also talking about why we want permits to carry and such. And it's a different message. It's a little bit more effective than just when some of the guys are saying it. And, it's just unfortunate that in this day and age, you do need some visual cues. People are really, they pick up quickly on that and they'll think, oh, there's a woman who's actually in
Right.
favor of guns. I thought women didn't like
But
guns.
women didn't like them, yeah.
Right. So,
and women, obviously, we know this. The stats for the last several years. Women is the largest growing demographic of gun owners. So
Yes.
we do need to have more women. So
yes.
so it's not all old white guys.
Yeah, no, it's cool, and we've been taught by many of you. Many of us, either learned to hunt early on or learned to shoot from their dads and their granddads, and that's part of our tradition, and we should preserve that tradition.
For sure.
But there are also, just emerging demographics, and women are the
largest
fastest
one.
growing group, and some women do want to learn just from women, and so let's be a part of the conversation.
All right. Very cool. Well, thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah.
What was the website again?
electanewNRA.com.
All right, electanewNRA.com. So please go there, vote for the 28 people that are slated, that are the reform candidates. I apologize for all the tech issues. Hopefully we'll get it worked out for tomorrow. We're still going to figure out something so we can get whatever we have, get it out out on the YouTube and put it out so people can check it out. I do want to thank Samson Manufacturing for letting us do the shows here at their booth at SHOT Show. And I want to thank Chris from Lan World for bringing us a 1942 Jeep. He drove this. He didn't drive it, but he brought it down from Salt Lake City. So this thing's been a haul. And he said it runs because he said he had to drive it here when he got it here. So
Wow.
this thing still runs. This is what, 80 years old, 80-year-old vehicle, 83-year-old
Wow.
vehicle. Anyway, we thank you guys for tuning in. We will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we are slated to have, oh my gosh, we're slated to have Michael Bain he's from the Outdoor Channel, but from MB TV. We're supposed to have Ben Sanderson from Gun Owners of America and Adam Kraut from Second Amendment Foundation. That's going to be from 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock Pacific time, which is 2 to 3 o'clock in the East Coast. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we will talk to you soon. Thank you.